Great, thank you. Hi, very. Hi, Raman Lakshman. Hi, Shahar. There are two Shahars here, so I don't know which one is which. Hi, Malik. Vinny, after this call, if you could just stay over so I can sort out your mentor thingy.
Thank you so much. That
Right.
was great.
I think you and I need to go around like fishing for mentors. Huh?
Thank you.
We'll do that. But yeah, I think that'll be like a couple of hours from now. I'll rejoin and then we can take it forward. Yeah, cool.
Thank you so much.
Who else is there? Hey, Madhav, why don't you put S in front of your name and Chandigarh so people know you're from Chandigarh. Same thing for my friend Mayur Mehta. Where are you from?
From Ty Dallas. I'll rename it.
Please do that. Thank you.
Pradeep,
You're a team member, right?
I'm
No, I am along with Satyajit and the team.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're a time member. Thank you. Yeah, thanks.
okay. I think we're about to begin. Pradeep, I did public instead of private. Is that a big deal, or do you need me to restart it? I'm not hearing you. You're on mute.
Pradeep, not a really big deal. There may be a few people from outside our ecosystem who might be watching it. As long as you don't tell me your bank account number, we are fine.
Oh, maybe I can. And you put some money in, right?
Absolutely.
I'm not hearing you. You're on mute.
No, I'm not mute now.
Pradeep,
not a really big deal. There may be a few people from outside our ecosystem who might be watching it. As long as you don't tell me your bank account number, we are fine. Dr. Lobe, I think you have your YouTube is.
You put some money in, right?
Absolutely.
I'm not hearing you. You're on mute.
No, I'm not mute now.
Pradeep,
not a really big deal. There may be a few people from outside. Dr. Lobe, you are hearing me because the YouTube is also on. Don't tell me your bank account number, we are fine.
how do I turn
Dr.
it
Lobe,
on?
I think you have your YouTube is.
You put some money in, right?
Yeah, just pause that.
You're on mute.
Yeah, no, that's because two devices play. Good, we're good to go.
Okay, officially we'll start. Thanks all for joining. Please note what's on the screen. Pradeep, if you want to put this in chat, because there'll be people joining late. So thanks for getting up on a Sunday morning. Okay. Let's jump in. We got a lot to cover. And today we're calling this the info session for winning teams. Believe it or not, the last orientation session was the 5th of April. So here we are 4 weeks later. And at this point now ready to turn on the gas, as they say, hopefully go up another gear or two with all of the teams from around the world. So what we're going to cover today is where we've been very quickly in 2 minutes. More importantly, we're going to spend the bulk of the time on the journey ahead. Make sure you are totally ready for the upcoming competition rounds. Tell you who's in what tracks, at least for the initial rounds. Answer high-level questions about prizes, in-kind awards. Ask for you to help in some of the PR. We're already doing that across our chapters. And along the way, it's a small enough group. Put any questions in the chat, but we'll also try to reserve some time at the end for any questions that may be on your mind. Today's slides, there's a bit.ly at the bottom. Thai UPC or Thai University Pitch Competition, May 1, will give you access to the slides you're watching today. And why are we doing all of this? Very simple objective, because the why is very important. And that is we want to maximize your readiness as one of the 30 teams participating in our program this month. With that said, let's jump in. Again, slides, if you want to look them up later, bit.ly Thai UPC May 1, and I'll ask Pradeep to maybe copy that into chat as well. So welcome again. What's been the journey so far? Let's go take a look, because some of you have been with us the entire time. Some of you joined more recently. So let's take a look.
This is the time when you're supposed to clap like for yourself and for those people who made the video, which is yours truly. Teams, if you could just on the chat, if on the chat you could just put your team name and city name in the chat. I can take an attendance later on, but I just want to make sure that most of the teams are here. So in case someone's missing out, we'll send them some reminders. That's what. Please go ahead and put it on chat. Your team name and your city name. Thanks.
And for the rest of you, go ahead. We asked this question last time. It's always intriguing to see what's on your mind. This is our way of making sure you are truly present. We're going to talk about Zoom etiquette, and I see a lot of people have not turned videos on, but fortunately have turned their mute buttons on, etc. This is where you really want to show you're present, right? This is a global competition, and whether Zoom or in person, being present is so important. So write down the one word that describes how you feel today from a competition perspective. And hopefully we'll see some good positive words and some maybe where we can help fill the gap. So with that, I'm going to move on and ask that in fact you fill out the polls. So we're asking you to keep up with all the stuff we're covering. So the first poll we're going to do is being launched. And if you're no matter who you are, if you're a coach, if you're a chapter, you can just answer. But certainly if you're one of the teams, hopefully you will answer the question so we know what gap we're filling towards the objective of making sure you maximize your readiness over the next few weeks this month. So good news is most of the answers are on the high side, a couple in the middle. Those are the ones we want to address, and we're hoping those of you who haven't answered will still answer, because I'm going to keep it open for about another 10 seconds and then moving along. Okay, so I'm going to end the poll in 5, 4. Okay, let's show you what you all said of the people who've responded. But mostly very high, so good. We'll make sure we reinforce whatever you've heard and make sure that all your understanding is accurate. For those who are more on the average side, hopefully we'll move you up the bell-shaped curve, okay? So that's a good story of where we are. Wherever your chapter was, we just sort of go down memory lane. You've all attended, hopefully. We know who actually did attend the workshops for not only yourselves, but also the runners-up teams. They're actually attending a different workshop later on today. Hopefully you're all being mentored. We're not seeing that being logged. We'll talk about it. And then clearly this week, we're on to Startup Bootcamp and various other events we'll talk about today. To the extent you stay involved with the local chapter, you might find you're offered a membership to TIE, and or we'll be looking at investable companies with angels and VC firms with a potential demo day in the latter part of this year. So that's sort of the overall calendar. Now we can get into specifics, okay? I said that we're expecting that all teams log their mentoring sessions. We are not seeing that happen the last few weeks. So this is not, and I'll show you later on why it's so important. We'll show you a student who ended up getting a prize of $25,000 from another program because of the mentoring that she received through the program, right? So what do you get mentored on? Hopefully these are the topics, the various documents, the pitch deck, how to be ready. We normally say about an hour a week based on what you have and the mentor agree on. So this is, we think, the most important part of our program. If you believe so, great. If you think it's a gap, it's probably something you should take on with your local mentor, or for those of you who requested a second mentor, there were about 4 dozen teams from the 90 that requested. You all got names and contacts of those people. If you need help, drop a note to university@tie.org. But all I got to say is I've run this program 9 years. Number one answer of what the students tell us is the differentiation of the TIE University Global Program is the mentoring they receive from real world mentors. Take advantage of it, basically. We'll assume all of you will do whatever you think is best for yourselves. Where have we been? We've done these workshops, these 3. Your counterparts who were the runners-up are receiving a primer later on today. You all will receive a full boot camp. We'll talk about that. In that one, just be aware, and this is how life works. You've all received, and if you've signed up for the one on Monday or on Thursday, in some cases it may be a little later depending on time zones, but those are the times from California. Professor Zafar, who is a serial entrepreneur, started and sold 4 to 5 companies, teaches at UC Berkeley and Northeastern University, has asked that you come with a 5-minute pitch. So I know you're preparing a 10-minute pitch. We'll show you the 4 or 5 items he expects you to cover. All of you are invited for the combination of 5th, 6th, 7th of May to the world's largest entrepreneurship conference. We wish it would have been in person. You would have all been there, but it's not. And so TiECon Silicon Valley, if you go to tiecon.org, you can sign up as a non-member, even if your chapter did not enroll you to be a member. Here is one we're giving you, and actually giving out to every student that's participated in TiE University, all caps, discount code TIEUNIV 2022. Pradeep, I'm assuming that email will also go out if it hasn't already, right? So for example, the chairperson of Pfizer is a speaker. The head of the New York Stock Exchange is a speaker. Several dignitaries from around the world, just phenomenal information, 13 breakout sessions all over the 3-day period. Again, all of that is on tiecon.org, all one word, okay? You can basically see here, if you typed in tiecon.org, you'll get all the rest of the details. You're all welcome to do that. So you can see the CEO of Pfizer, Forbes magazine, et cetera, just a number of incredible speakers that hopefully will help you on your journey, okay? Here's what you and your counterparts that attended the workshops we've had already said when we asked you at the end. Give us 3 words that describe what you felt about the workshops. Here are the words you all provided. And I'm extremely pleased that for those of you who did attend, this was the average score on a scale of 10. I have never seen scores of 9.44 on average, okay? The highest, I think, was a 9.8, et cetera. But when we average all the answers you all provided on the value of these workshops, 9.4. I don't think there's ever been a program at your university, at your college, et cetera. So just wanted you to see, if you have not attended, we've put that kind of YouTube URLs into WhatsApp so you can go back and catch up, okay? The first of the next events is, I know some of you may be confused. There's something called Cohort A and Cohort B, depending on the time of the world that's convenient for you. You already signed up, and so you received an email from Professor Zafar. If you wonder how to look for it, he sends it from his entrepreneurship company, Concordia Ventures, rather. So he's invited you to A and B. This is how the time will be spent. You need to be there for the entire period. You are welcome to attend with your entire team. It will cover the 3 topics as shown. He's asked that you create a 5-minute pitch. If you're wondering what to put in 5 minutes, because we're asking you to do a 10-minute pitch, just answer these questions. You don't need to answer anything else. And as part of the mentoring and final pitches, you'll see why you need to come prepared. Do not do it during the event. You need to have that prepared. You have an email already from him. If for some reason any of this sounds like gibberish, it means you didn't sign up, or somehow your team leader didn't forward the information from you or put something in chat. We'll catch up with you. Okay. Again, let's move on to what happens after that are now part of the actual competition. We're going to do mock pitches next Sunday. We'll do the semifinals the following Saturday, and the finals and the championship on the Sunday, the middle Sunday of May. How does all this work? We're going to answer every question you have, hopefully, and reinforce for those of you who already felt you're very ready. So let's go, get into it. All of this information that we're going to cover is covered in the TiU Blue Book, but now I'm going to give you some things that are not covered there because literally we're now doing the final prep, putting judges in tracks. We'll show you what track you're in, et cetera, et cetera. So let's move on. One other thing I think we didn't put in the TiU Blue Book, but I would just tell you that I feel that somehow after 2 years of having a pandemic, our Zoom etiquette is a bell-shaped curve. Etiquette says, come on early, test your technology. Don't tell us your internet bandwidth is a problem. Don't keep your camera off. You are on a worldwide stage, even as we speak, and all I see are white letters on a black background. That is not very oriented towards, and you need to do this from start to finish. Be present. Don't be clicking your typewriter unless you're answering a chat question. All of those things are offered in a Zoom etiquette PDF. You can click on it later. You can see, what to do. I see that several people came early, but also several came after the start time. That is not also part of good etiquette. Again, we're hoping we didn't have to cover this, but be prepared. I will tell you on the day off, we will move very fast. If you're missing your time to be ready, if you miss having your slides ready, et cetera, we're actually going to ask a couple of teams to do that today, just as a sort of preparation. But we are not going to have you tell us your mic's not working, your video's not working, because you're going to see we've got a lot to do during the upcoming events of the competition rounds. Okay. So get to a place with high bandwidth, get to, solve all of that well before these events. Okay. So first round starts mock round. These ones we have not put it on your calendar, but I think we will. We're trying not to put everything on your calendar to get you confused. It will run on 8th May. It will run for 2.5 hours. The start time is shown here in Eastern US time and IST. If you're at another time zone, when the calendar arrives, you'll have it. This has always stayed the same. There are 7 tracks. We'll show you which track your team is in. There are 4 to 5 teams in that track, and there will be some judges. I'll show you a starting set of judging information. We're finalizing all that info today. And the good news is it is truly a mock round. We'll show you what you should do in the mock round, what feedback you will get. And the good news, it's called a mock round because all teams move forward. So it's judged, you're given feedback, but all 30 teams that start will finish. Okay? Obviously, if you don't show up, we're expecting today. I'm watching that all 30 teams are not here. I think again that's a missing opportunity. That's the mock round. The next round is the semifinal round. All the teams will be re-swizzled. They'll be put into 6 tracks. You will not be in the same track with the same teams you were before. And this is where the competition really begins. There will be 5 teams in every track, a bunch of new judges, some cases, maybe a couple of judges that also were here before, but likely there'll be new judges to you. We will try not to put the same judges with the same teams. And the outcome of that on Saturday, the 14th, is that they will each pick out of their track, out of the 5 teams, who are the 2 semifinal teams that move forward into the finals. Okay, so that's what happens in the semifinal round. In the final round, the following day, and by the way, about an hour later, we will put this information on various ways because the judges will go off and deliberate, and they will announce who the 2 are from their track. We'll put it into WhatsApp. We'll send an email out. So you'll hear about an hour after the end of the 2 hours. Okay? Final round will run on the next day, the 15th. We're asking all of you to show up because it's a great learning opportunity as well. Plus, we'll be having prizes for all semifinalists and finalist teams that'll get announced at the end of the championship. So while it's not, you got to be present to win, we hope you will participate and you'll still be rooting for all of the participants. Here, there'll be 3 tracks, 4 teams. Why? Because there'll be top 2 teams from 6 tracks, 12 teams. They'll be broken through random.org into 4 teams. There'll be a whole set of new judges, I think, for the most part. These are by invite only. These we have by nomination. We've we're almost done with deciding who those judges are. We already have the judges named for these two programs. By end of day tomorrow, Tuesday, we'll have this done. There'll be a speaker who will also cover a little bit of time, and the top single team from each track will move forward into the championship round. We will have probably a 30-minute go grab some coffee or lunch or dinner or whatever it is in your time zone, just to give everybody a rest. And when you come back, that's when we'll announce who the three teams are. So you won't know that till the judges are done with their deliberation during the short break. And then the championship round will begin, as we've said, a little later on the same day. We'll have a single track, 3 teams. Why? Because these 3 teams from a prize money will be receiving 2/3 of all the cash, but all the remaining cash is being distributed to all 30 teams. For brand new judges, speaker, etc., where they will announce the top global team, second team, third team, and we will announce prizes, cash prizes, and in-kind prizes for all finalists and semifinalists. So that's over the calendar. I think this probably is one of the most detailed slides you need to know. Now let's get into a little bit more detail on it so you feel totally ready. The mock round next Sunday, the 8th. I know it is Mother's Day for those of you in the Western America who celebrate. Sorry about that. It's just how the world worked out. We didn't want you to miss out TICON on Saturday the 7th. All the teams will be put into tracks. We're actually going to show you what we think is a 90+% likelihood. You will do a 10-minute pitch. And this time you will do exactly the same pitch. You will not do Q&A. Those judges will be writing down stuff, which we'll send to you within minutes after the program is done. But they will verbally provide you feedback of how to improve on the things they saw and heard. They're being given the access to your BMC BPS documents today, and they will have rated those before the event on the 8th. They will then rate similarly your 10-minute pitch. You will get it both in writing as well as verbal. That's why we want them to really help you improve. So it's 10 plus 10. From then on, the competition round will always be 10 plus 5, 10 plus 5, 10 plus 5. And again, just a repeat of who moves forward, okay? So these teams here that seem like gobbledygook, let's tell you who they are. We're calling the tracks LEADING for the 7 tracks on the mocks. We're calling them GROWTH. So you'll be allocated as, for example, if you're in the track called W, which is basically a breakout room. So you'll pick the breakout room W. If you end up in there, we'll show you as an example where you'll end up here later on this week or in a few days. We'll do the same as we approach these. You'll know in advance, okay? So how does this look real time? Here are the, it does say subject to change due to special circumstances. We always reserve the right. Somebody gets COVID, something happens, etc. You know, some problem occurs in some city, you know, they go into a blackout, who knows, things happen. So at this point, this is the slot order. You must be present for the entire track. You can't just show up for your time because we want to keep this going. We'll have your...
Could you move the screen sharing thing? Because we can't see the top of the... Yep.
Got it. Thanks, Harry. So those are the tracks, LEADING, etc. You should all recognize your name. If anybody's team is not here, we're in trouble. It means Pradeep, myself, and Gordon, having looked at it 3 times, hopefully got it right. As we said, these 2 tracks have 5 because we have 30 in total. All the rest have 4. Very important on that in the remaining rounds, mocks, semis, finals, and championship, we will be running a timer. It will be on one of the windows that will be spotlighted. It will have a countdown. So if you have 10 minutes, please don't take 10 minutes and 5 seconds, okay? When the timekeeper in your track says, thank you very much, they may not need to say 1 minute left because you ought to be watching that, and hopefully you've practiced that pretty well, okay? Good, okay. This is purely informational. We're working with chapters from around the world. Want you to feel it is truly a global program. So if you're in one of the tracks, Team Mysuru and Team DC will jointly run track L as an example, but you're not to worry about it. I just want you to know that people running your breakout room are from all over the world, just to have balance and objectivity, okay? When you are not presenting, or if you're a coach or another chapter staff person or chapter champion, you will be shown in between the transition a QR code as well as a bit.ly link. We want you to give feedback to your counterparts. This is as much educational. I will tell you, you will learn a great deal by listening more actively. So you will have a chance, in addition to the judges providing feedback. Obviously, the scores will not. We'll actually have a fun way to score something you'll see during the mock rounds when we're doing that. But I want you to realize why we're asking you to stay the entire track. Even if you're first, we want you to listen to all the remaining teams in your track, okay? That's all being generated already. Nothing has changed. This is just a repeat. If you want any of the description of what these are, the two that are finished already that have been will be seen by the judges starting later today, or the 20% BMC BPS, and then the remaining 80, you can see the details in the blue book if you want to do that, but hopefully you already did that when you were running, and obviously got to this point as the winner from your chapter. Just so you're aware, we ask that you upload to the same upload link. Similarly, you will get feedback by end of day on the 8th as part of the, actually not end of day, within minutes after the mock round is over, you will have received feedback. You're welcome then within basically about a half a day to a day from depending on where you are. This time we're going to use IST, May 9th, if you want to upload, because then the mock round, sorry, the semifinal judges will have access. If you don't want to change anything, that's fine. But if you have something you want to tweak or change or add an optional financial file, you're welcome to. Not all of you took advantage of the optional portion. That's fine, entirely up to you and your chapter and your mentors. But judges will always see the latest. So if you want to change one, both, neither, always up to you. Whatever you do, the judges see the latest version in the upload folder, okay? So again, once you get past mock round, it'll always be 10 minutes presentation, 5 minutes Q&A, where they'll be acting as a set of investors or strategic advisors to make sure that they're asking you questions so that they can feel you're an investable company. Pradi, go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah. Also, when you said that we could revise it, so the two or three documents that we submitted yesterday, we could like change them before our semifinals round. Is that what I understood, right?
Correct. For each round, you'll be given a window.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Because we want you to, just like in real life, right? I happen to be a VC by real time. And so if somebody comes and presents to me and then they go to a different Atlanta office and present to a different VC and I give them feedback saying, I like this, I didn't like this, here's what, you ought to just consider that as good feedback and decide the part you ought to say, boy, maybe for another person, I could make some changes. Make sense?
Yes.
You'll be given a window each time, okay? So you just saw the window here. We said we'll open probably on or about the mock round, and you'll have just, that window through May 9th, 9 p.m. IST to upload the latest and greatest. If you don't, we'll just move forward with the versions we have. If Gordon's on, I'll let him also provide. I think I said that right. Good. Okay. See your thumbs up. Thank you. So that's the pitch format. Just as you've seen this in a workshop, many of you were with Pradeep on several workshops. In the blue book, it says the baker's dozen. You should check. It doesn't matter what the order is. If you want to go back and relook at it, it's a good part you'll find. And then we also say have some backup slides so that since you'll be able to share screen, I know people ask me, can I share screen? The answer is yes, you can. In fact, we're going to ask a couple of teams, we're going to going to ask all of you, have your PowerPoint ready because we're going to call on a couple of you to see if in fact you're paying attention, and we're going to put you on the spot and see if you're ready to present your first slide whenever we call on you, okay? But during the Q&A, you can answer the questions. If you have more than one teammate, the entire team can answer the questions. Here's what I would tell you: keep them short and sweet. We know that judges often speak too long. The moderator and timekeeper will be moving them along as well. Okay, so Utkarsh, Arora, go ahead. Your question, please.
Yeah, sir. So I just wanted to ask, like the last two points mentioned, fund ask and fund usage, right? So in that particular case, in our presentation, is it necessary that we are looking for funds, and like what is the need for the funds that needs to be mentioned, or is it just a presentation of our business model?
I think you should have asked your mentor by now. What has your mentor told you? And then I'll tell you my answer. And I think Pradeep in the pitch workshop said, everything I tell you is true and everything I tell you is false. So what did your mentor tell you for that question?
No, like it's not like in my regional chapter as well, I did not mention anything about like if I am looking for funds or not, right? It was just a business model that I presented, and how do we actually make money and how are we operational. So that was the need for it. Yeah.
I would say you ought to consider asking for some funds, even if it's $500,000 and what you're going to use it for, because keep in mind, we've always said this is really as if you're an investable company. So why, if you're only telling me I'll make money and nothing else, et cetera, other than if you had another reason why you're not asking for funds, and I'm wondering. So I think if you consider this to be a competition, I could see why that answer. We don't view this as a competition. We view this as a way to get ready for reality of being out there in the marketplace. David, I'm going to put you on the spot. What would you tell your team over there in Oregon, or any other team you've coached, in answer to Utkar's question?
Yes, the ask should be both, let's say, ask for what you need. Money is really the key factor here. You're talking to people who are investors, so we want to invest our capital, our dollars, into you to be successful. You may also then ask for other resources, connections or skills that you might have, but number one is really dollars. And what you're going to use those dollars for in realizing your business plan. So we want to see a connectivity between an investment and what your plans are. So that's my short answer.
Now you got our answer with cars. You can, as we say, choose to use it or not.
And let me give you the teacher's perspective as well, Utkarsh, because I did that workshop. So although yes, there's a need to put the ask, but don't go and sit under a tree and give some random numbers. Give it a lot of serious thought. Think of where you are today and think of where you want to go and what's the exact money that you need for it. And then, like David said, what is the specific usage for that money? Okay. Don't go wild and ask for something that's totally not relevant, and don't be shy and ask for something that doesn't, add up to the whole business model. Yeah?
I think Pradeep is correct. If you are showing growth in your business, you need money for that growth. So be very clear on what growth you want, what kind of growth, and what kind of money you want. Right?
Got it. Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Actually, my question was not really like how much funds to ask for. It was actually like if we are not immediately looking for funds, so is it necessary to put that slide in or not? Actually, that was my perspective, but I got the answer. Thank you so much, sir.
Excellent. And consider also, Utkarsh, whether you're asking for phase 1 or phase 2, or hey, in 6 months we'll be asking for. So I think we've answered a lot of ways for you to sort of take it and do what you wish, right? So awesome. I'm going to move on because the same Zoom account will be used for another group shortly. Everything we've covered is in the Thai Blue, not everything. Much of what the generic stuff is in the Thai Blue Book. Do keep in mind Zoom etiquette. I still notice a lot of people haven't turned videos on, aren't ready, et cetera. So just enough said in terms of hopefully you will, in the 3 rounds of our competition coming up, have follow all the etiquette, test stuff out early, join early, et cetera, and stay the whole time. PitchFest prizes. We've announced that the first prize will be in cash, $50,000 US. All these will be sent out. We'll be asking for bank account information so that can be delivered to you either individually or split between your team. All of that will be stuff that will be done the week following the event. Other finalists, remember we said 12 teams. There are 3, right? And the tracks will be moving forward. We're splitting the next 25,500. All semifinalists, so all 30 teams will receive something. And hence that sort of adds up. And then there are some special prizes that we're working on for teams that represent social impact, for example, et cetera, et cetera. We've had some sponsors say they want to put some money in, and that's how we can say we will be giving away in cash over $100,000. Et cetera. We're also working on some in-kind awards. Last year, as an example, AWS gave out software credits to all teams that participated. We had last year, Dell gave out discounts, hardware, software. We have companies across the world working on, we're working on this. It may not be to every team, but to select teams, intellectual property, et cetera, as you can see. In-kind is left to you to use. There'll be a end date to use them, but certainly cash is cash, and will get delivered hopefully within a few days or a short while after the competition is over. We always say roughly right because we leave ourselves the opportunity. And roughly right doesn't mean we will go below 100,000. As you can see, we've said this from day one: 50,000 to the top global team and 100K of total cash. Okay. Just in case you're wondering, here is Carson, and she ran a company called CA Buddy. The C was actually cancer, and her mom has cancer. She actually brought her parents as part of the story. She did not win. She won here in Atlanta a total of $500. 2 weeks later, she got a check for $25,000, and this is what she wrote to her mentor. That's why I told you all that. And by the way, she's probably had 15 different sessions with her mentor, who comes from a telecom background. So he didn't know very much about cancer education, but together they worked it out. And I'm very pleased to say that this is the kind of stuff that does happen if you stay involved and view this as much more than a competition. Okay. Pradeep, you want to take over slides, or you want me to just...
Yes, I will. Yes, Dr. Prasad.
Go ahead.
Wonderful. Thank you. And very interesting that the moment the slide with the prize money came up, I saw some videos opening up and some people like looking out. So, so now I can send you my bill for consulting. Utkarsh, get ready. Cool.
And by the way, Davidson College is a very small college in the Carolinas, so you don't have to go to MIT or Harvard or IIT in order to win big cash, right? So,
right.
All yours, Pradeep.
So on that positive note that all of you are literally winners, the minimum that you will go back with is $500 from being part of this competition. My bank account I'll share with you in some time. So anything that you want to send towards me is great. If you can see my screen, some of the requests that I have from you, this is from the PR team. One, please help us paint the town red. What we mean by that is share your participation in this competition on every social media that you have. It could be your Instagram, it could be your LinkedIn, it could be your Twitter, it could be on your YouTube, on your Facebook. If you need any collateral for that, like badges or something, reach out to university@i.org and we will create those for you. We have already created these posters for you. I'm sure most of you would have seen them. Many of you didn't give feedback, so we're not sure whether all of you have seen them. So they're all there on the TiE University page. If you can share these wherever you mingle with people, that would be great to get attention. Now, why do you need to do this? You need to do this not for TiE University, but you need to do this because this is kind of a cheap, I would say a free way for you to get customers, a free way for you to get investors, a free way to get employers probably. Not all of us might on this call might end up being entrepreneurs. Some of us might want to go and work for a few years. And sorry, the pedantic professor is here. My partner spelling is wrong. And you could get partners as well. Why I'm reiterating the word free is because we will take those collateral and we will push them to every nook and corner. Last year, the pitch competition had almost 900 attendees on the finals day, which included 60 to 70 investors, people from colleges, people from corporates. So that's the kind of visibility that we're going to put you on in Spotlight. So get ready for it. And that's why I said, put your video on, because now I know how Samir looks, I know how Harry looks, I know how Soumya looks. And whenever there's an opportunity that comes up, your faces will come to my mind, because his brain is a visual machine. It's not a machine that goes by names, and I cannot remember Sophia Babul if I don't have a face to it. So please do put your videos on. Bring the bandwagon. What I mean by that is go ahead and invite your family, your friends, professors, mentors. Last year, we had a cash prize of $750 for the team that had the largest contingent of supporters on the call. This year too, budget permitting, we might have something like that. But at the end of the day, it's also a way for you to tell your parents and tell your friends that you are a real entrepreneur. I didn't want to put this slide ever, but over the last 1 month, I have interacted with many of you. And this is kind of my moral of the story for you today. I think you are no more a student. You are an entrepreneur. We are looking at you as companies. So don't come with excuses that my internet is slow. I didn't have connection. There are so many things that we can do. I'm sorry I'm sounding like a professor, but in my company, I have one huge board, which is like 10 feet by 10 feet. It says you can always go from failure to success, but you can never go to success from excuses. So the next 15 days are going to be very crucial. Get your internet on the mock days. Get at least 2 alternate connections so that you are clear and visible, and the judges are able to listen to what you're saying and they're able to see you as well. Pradi, you had a question. You raised your arm, or is that a hi-fi? I'm a little old, so I don't understand these terminologies. Pradi?
No, I was just clapping for the quote that you have.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. That's how it works. Gordon is here. I am here. Dr. Lopez is here. Whenever we have these competitions, we have at least 3 sets of internet connections. We beg, borrow, steal, but we make sure that things are there, because Murphy will play his role. Things will go wrong, so please keep everything on a standby. At that point, I also want to tell, if all of you can make a copy of a 10-minute pitch recorded and a video, just keep it as a backup. Keep it as a backup. In the extreme scenario that everything else fails, we can still play that video and get things moving on. I don't want to let go of any team for the lack of that. At the same time, do keep your preparations on. We need a 1-minute bite from each of you, which is like your elevator pitch. I will share my screen and show you something so you get an idea of what exactly we need. And then my team will make sure that you are famous all over the world.
Hi, I'm Austin.
And I'm Samantha.
We're Team WXH from Oregon State University, and we're representing TIE Oregon in this year's TIE University Global Pitch Fest.
Our mobile app will help you design magazine-worthy wall arrangements, discover artwork and decor you love, and hang your art exactly where you want it.
You get to create your ideal space, and we'll be there to help you along the way. If you're interested, visit us at wxh.io.
So the PR team will make these for you. And just to give you some numbers, last year, in combined, all these videos and collateral reached almost 1.2 million people across the world. So your marketing manager will be very happy. So go ahead and put your time. Send us this. The deadline is 7th of May. So please do mail a 1-minute video so we can create. The faster you send, we'll create it faster, and then you can start sharing it. And finally, one more WhatsApp group. I know some of you might go, oh my God, one more WhatsApp group. But this is only for these 30 people that are on this call, the winners. And I'm consciously not putting the link here because we don't want anyone else apart from the 30 to be there. This is my phone number. Just note it down. I'll put it on the chat as well in a minute. Send me a request and I'll share the link for joining that particular WhatsApp group. It's only for the team members of the top 30 teams and no one else. And of course,
and Pradeep, you said 30 people, but you meant 30 teams, basically
30
the
teams,
top winning team per chapter.
Yes. So, and then of course, our Instagram handle is the TIE_university. Our LinkedIn group, which is an alumni group, is bit.ly/TIU group. And we are always here to help 24/7. You can put something on the code and we will surely reply. Cool.
Pradeep,
that's it from my side, Dr. Ramesh.
Yeah, one question, and then we'll open up to any final questions. What What if people want to register their friends? I know you've passed it along to them. Will you either put it in chat for the semifinals and the finals? So again, we're looking for anybody that wants to show up, hopefully cheering you along, right? So
yes, it's always intuitive at Thai University, bit.ly/TaiUPC22 semis and TaiUPC22 finals. So I'll anyway share it with you in some time.
okay, good. We're going to do one more poll here. And then we'll see their final questions. And I am about to hit one more poll. So get ready with on your keyboard, please. We just launched it. At the beginning, we asked how ready you felt you were. Mostly 3s, 4s, and 5s. I hope the answers now will be all 5s, but who knows? I'm not telling you what to put in. Anybody who says, not quite 5, I imagine that's probably because you're not ready from a pitch competition as opposed to the info that you're looking for. If you are less than a 5, do ask any questions we can help you with. We'll stay on just a couple of minutes beyond, and I'm going to shortly end the poll. So assume 10 seconds to go, and we'll show you your answers here. Considerably higher, ending in 5. And ending in now. Okay, so here was what you all said. So I think we accomplished what we wanted, which was to move everybody up and or reinforce those who were already a 5 in that regard. So thank you for spending the last 45, 50 minutes with us. Whoops. There's some appendix slides there. And again, the slides today, as you saw, were bit.ly/ the rest, May 1, etc. So with that, we'll stay on for a couple more minutes, see if there are any final questions. If not, we will certainly see you next Sunday, right? Be present, be early, all part of the etiquette. I know some of you were not here on time, but the next 3 rounds will all begin on time, and we expect you to be really present from start to finish, okay? With that, I'm going to end the official aspect of this call, and yeah, I see some good questions showing up in chat. And again, thank you for spending a little part of Sunday. Hope you all feel good about what we're doing. Here's the story I will tell you. I'm having coffee next Saturday with the student who won the top prize from Atlanta and then won the 3rd top prize globally last year. I'm very pleased to tell you that as part of our discussion is we're investing $225,000 into his company called Inside Optics. And we helped that happen from places like Southern California and Dallas, Texas, and Boston, and DC and Atlanta. And so I hope you feel that this competition is only a start to the possibilities. And those are real investments, they're not cash prizes. So clearly he's valued his company, I believe, at about $4.5 million. And I'm very pleased to say Thai by itself is putting in close to $250,000 on this round. So he's about to close the round. So something's happened if you participate and you stay involved. I'm going to start.
There's a question on the chat. In the pitch competition, is the poll round existing? Simply voting. What do you mean by that, Venkat? Why don't you unmute and ask that question? Do you mean like a audience choice or something?
Yes, sir. In the last time pitch competition, so you have allowed for the voting competition, right? From all our institutions.
Yeah. You can vote, but that's more like the audience prize. It will not have any. That will be there, but it will not have any control on the final scores or whatever. Yeah, so because then Indians and Pakistanis and Chinese will win, right? We have all our full population, so we don't want to do that.
Okay, sir.
And we know you call everybody your cousin brother and cousin sister, so we have to make we want to be objective, right?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. But we will probably use some of that audience, the QR code we showed you. That's part of all of it kind of deal. So we're just having a little fun. So we put aside a few $100s for that purpose. The main prizes are really going to you all as non-dilutive prizes. So for this round, when we do something called Demo Day for those investable companies, several months from now, who knows? So, and in fact, one of the teams here, we're looking at possibly for doing a separate investment in the Southeast US. So Malik, thanks for uploading all your stuff. It's all being part of the ecosystem. So with that, I'm going to end this call because there's another one waiting to start for.
Paul, may I know who won last year?
A team out of Toronto, a lady there, and Gordon would know the name better.
Myra.
Alltex. Yeah, Alltex.
Myra from Alltex was the top winner last year, but the prizes were, in total, the prize pool was 65,000. This year we've raised it to 101,000.
So, Praddy, you already have half the name of the winning team.
Right. No, I was actually going through the business plan summary of Alltex because it was in the blue book. And basically, as I just told Paul, this is the first time that we are ever getting into any competition whatsoever. And our company is just 2.5 months young. So we couldn't find any particular ask in her business plan. So I was just wondering, like, how did that work? Like, what was the ask?
Pradeep, let's do this only because Professor Zafar is waiting on the same account for the other.
Pradeep, I'll take that call with you later. I have the number.
Sure.
I would say just get offline because we thought we would move forward, but hopefully you all feel that the time was well spent. All the best to you. If you have anything else that comes up, look out on WhatsApp and all these other ways, and we'll see you next Sunday. Bye all, and all the best to you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the session. Yeah.
Welcome. All the best to you.